I am Daksh. I'm the founder of Blub World Magazine. A very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks. So, Blub World is basically a magazine which is meant for teenagers, where we try to find stories of teenagers who can inspire other teens. In one simple statement, it's teens inspiring teens. Till date, we have showcased nearly 300 such teenagers across the world and are still finding and scavenging and showcasing such teenagers from across the globe, from different geographies from time to time. The Blub World magazine has a research division where we try to build industry white papers focused on the K-12 education sector, which is simply schools. And this very activity where I'm welcoming all of you is a part of that only, where we are trying to find out and build a knowledge bank on how has COVID changed, altered, improved, or we can say at some points even decayed, or brought up all the decayment of the education sector, which it carried for a long time, or which right now it's trying to change. So a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talk 71st edition. In the last 70 episodes, more than 800 school leaders have participated on this very platform, shared their opinions, ideas, perceptions on how is education changing right now when we face a scenario which we never expected. But right now we are trying to weigh through it, and most important and critically, टेक्नोलॉजी इतना जल्दी हम लोगों के पास आ गई, जो अगर नॉर्मल कोर्स में आती तो शायद अगले 10 साल लग जाते, लेकिन लॉकडाउन के पहले 10 दिन में उसे हमने अपना लिया और बहुत अच्छे से अपना लिया. So before we start, just to set some ground rules, this is a bilingual platform. You can use either English or Hindi to speak. If you use a third language, not a problem. I won't get it, but you can use it. But preferred is English and Hindi. And before we start, every roundtable has some practitioners of the call, typically school leaders who are meddling around and who are typically fighting every day to continue learning, and two special speakers or the chairs or the co-chair of the roundtable. Today, we have two, again, special speakers with us who will be sharing an external perspective to school education and how do they perceive education changing in the coming times. So a very warm welcome once again, and let's find out what do you perceive or think on is technology really teaching. So let's hear the first guest or the chair for the roundtable today. And before I invite him, just a small reminder of the format. You can all see Divya Purohit on your screen. I think Divya is there, but Divya, please put your camera on. I think there's some technical glitch. So what you have to remember is everybody gets to speak for 2 minutes straight, and then you have 30 more seconds to conclude. And if you're not conclude by 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It is just to finish this activity on time. I hope you enjoy the next 30-40 minutes where we try to understand what do you think on is technology really teaching. So let's first, most of the profiles you already have with you of the special speakers, but let's have a small introduction and let's invite the first guest for today, the chair of the roundtable, Mr. Kamlesh Mishra, Vice Chancellor, Rishi Hood University, Sonipat, Haryana. Kamlesh ji, over to you for the next 4 minutes to set the context for today's roundtable and set the ball rolling. Over to Professor Kamlesh Mishra.
Thank you so much, Daksh. Let me start by trying to give you some perspective of where I feel education is going to go and how technology can aid in moving us in that direction much faster, and where there could be some advantages and where there could be some disadvantages. Now, sometimes you may feel that I'm being too futuristic, but this is the direction I'm thinking. I think as we move forward, whether it is higher education or it is school education, there are 4 elements that are going to be very essential in the education of the future. First is what we call as the mental education. And I think we all do that. To a large extent, we are focused on the mental education. The second aspect that we need to take care of is the physical education. And it is not about sports, and I'll talk to you. The third element is the emotional education, and the fourth is the spiritual education. These are the four components of education that will ultimately make a difference as we move forward. So mental education is what we do, currently we are doing. So we are only focusing on one pillar of education. In the climax of the situations that we are in today, and the speed at which human race is running, the younger generation is actually in a big, big mess emotionally. Too much, too fast in their plate. Therefore, we need to bring in the element of emotional education into our curriculum. Physical education is not about sports. It includes sports, but it also includes awareness of our physical presence itself. For example, a student may walk 10 steps on the stairs, but if you ask him, what was the picture when you were climbing the stairs in front of you, there was a big picture that was hanging on the wall. He will not know. That's lack of physical awareness. And we need to bring that physical awareness because that's what is important for creativity, which will be the future of the higher education. Fourth element is the spiritual element. Please remember that I'm not at all talking about religion and philosophy. I'm talking about self-discovery. And students need to get into understanding the art of self-discovery. So if you tell students that you need to do meditation, they're not going to be interested. But I'm going to teach you the art of silencing the mind because it helps you focus. Then they will be interested in understanding how silencing of the mind can happen. Okay. So I think these are the four elements that will have to come into the education system at every level. Right? Now, having understood that these are the areas that we have to bring in slowly, I think if we bring these four elements, we will also get rid of this problem that we have that students do not have the skills that are required by the industry. These four elements will prepare our students with the right kind of skills, both at the school level and the level of the university. Please try and understand all principles. I personally respect all of you a lot, and I rely very heavily on you. When you leave, I take it from there. So my work, the extent of my effort is determined to a large extent by your efforts. So you're very, very vital for higher education. Without you, we cannot do a great job at all, right? So please don't underestimate the kind of things that you all do. Now, the issue is that how do we bring technology into all these things? Please remember there are two elements to technology. One is what we call as technology as a teaching tool. And the second element, which a lot of times we assume to be the same, technology as a platform for learning. And there is a lot of difference between teaching and learning. And we need to keep these things separate. A student looks at technology as a platform for learning. A teacher looks at technology as a tool of teaching. And we need to think of these two elements from both. Whenever we talk about technology, let's be aware of these two elements. With that, I will stop because my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamlesh ji, to actually set the context in the right context, because आपने चारों fields को बहुत अच्छे से mark out करके बता दिया that the discussion will have to be on these pointers and in trying to build an understanding on really what we need to teach. अभी हम curriculum पूरा कर रहे हैं, but finally education का objective थोड़ा सा tweak करना पड़ेगा, because the kind of society that we are seeing around us, technology का change होने का pace बहुत ज़्यादा है, हम उससे typically pace नहीं रख पा रहे बहुत जगह पे, and employability is changing at an even faster pace कि शायद humans को अपनी ability के beyond सीखना पड़ेगा और हमें सिखाना पड़ेगा. To summarize what you said, that we'll have to work on mental education, physical education, emotional and spiritual education. Too much, too fast, leaving the youngsters hassled and with a typically super lack of physical awareness. When you talk of spiritual education, it's typically about self-discovery and understanding yourself better, your skills better, and even you as an individual better. And tech will be a tool for teaching, but tech won't teach in itself. So thank you so much, Kamleshji, for putting things into perspective. The next guest we have with us today is somebody who will share a perspective on how is education being impacted internationally, and how is the transition from school to international education being, finding its ways of working right now. Because at this moment, there's a lot of caution that the parents are playing with, and even the students are not very, encouraged to be going out. But yes, let's see how is international education being impacted, and what do they see in the coming times and the trends that are going to come up. Let's welcome Ms. Arjima Datta Saika, COO, Chief Operating Officer for Jamboree Education Private Limited, New Delhi. Arjima ji, over to you. You can unmute your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks, Daksh. And yes, I totally agree with you. When you introduced the topic, when you said that in these 3-4 months, technology in education has moved like by probably decades. We have achieved what we would not have achieved in decades if we were not forced, if our backs were not forced into the wall. So I totally agree with you on that. Yes, the previous speaker had talked about 4 types of education. We actually think of learning as two types of learnings. One, formal education, of course, where you go to a school, college, and then there are life learnings, right? Things, skills like friendships, how to share, how to care, how to know when to make a contribution. So there are formal education learnings, and then there are life learnings. Of course, there's a massive overlap also. There's definitely an area where the overlap happens. So I have been dealing with students, Indian students who study abroad or who want to study abroad for the last 14 years. I have myself gone through this cycle. And what the challenge that I faced when I went in like 2000, a lot of the challenges still remain, purely because whether we like it or not, we are a very theoretical oriented, our education system is very theoretical oriented, right? So that's is true even now. So students face almost the same type of challenges that I did in 2000. Now what is happening is that with technology coming into coming to learning phase, so that is actually leveling the playing ground. That's what I feel, because whether you are a student studying in the US, or you are a student studying in India, taking a course offered by Cornell online or Columbia, any top university online, you are sitting in India, in some village in India, and somebody studying, in the US from the professor, directly, or somebody in UK, Australia. So technology is leveling the playing ground, in terms of learning, in terms of the subject matter, I would say. Obviously, there is probably it's not a good idea to completely move to AI based learning, where we will not have physical teachers and we will only have AI based learning. So that should never ever be the goal. But I'm talking about technology not just as a tool, but the learnings that you get from technology. So I'll give our own example, and I'm sure some of you would have faced that. Because we are now forced to do something as simple as a Zoom webinar, we have to now learn this also. So because we have to use technology, we are learning, right? So my daughter, I have a 5-year-old, so who is now attending online classes. And last week, so she had to make an assignment of a video and post it. So which she would not have otherwise done if she was attending a class, in-person class. So technology is also teaching. So I think it's not just we should not be looking at technology just as a tool to learn, but it is also teaching. And whether it's an international student or Indian student, so when you are using technology, you are learning lots of new things. As teachers also, whether it's an institute in India or an institute in the US, when they are analyzing the data coming from the online classes, that's also helping them modify their learning methodologies. In a physical class, we don't have any way to know when a student is mentally switching off. But in an online class, you get to know when the engagement level goes down. So we were having a discussion with some of the professors in US universities, and they were talking about how they are modifying their presentations, how they are modifying their course structures to ensure that the engagement levels, so they are obviously learning from technology. They're not.
Arjamaji, thank you so much. The time was actually over. We'll again try to come back to you. So the format from here onwards changes a bit. The special speakers or the chairs of the round table had the first 4 minutes each, and now we'll be hearing them at the ending of the whole round table once we hear all the other practitioners. And now we'll want to know from them that how can these practitioners increase, enhance the engagement levels and the curriculum levels and the kind of content they're teaching. To again summarize what Rajamaji said, that edtech typically got forced, और उस force के चक्कर में बहुत जल्दी से वो implement हो गया, people started using it. And theory oriented curriculum, that is something that is right now becoming the biggest problem and challenge for everybody, because केवल theory या आप अभी lecture mode is not working in a class. When it's online class, discussion mode works, and उस पे ले जाना इस curriculum को जो हमारे पास अभी है is a big difficulty. And tech has actually leveled the playing ground on subject matter. आपके पास दुनिया के सबसे अच्छे experts available हैं हर कोने से. So एजुकेशन में जो क्रिटिकलिटी स्टैब्लिश की जाती थी बाय इंस्टीट्यूशंस, वो क्रिटिकलिटी डाइल्यूट हो रही है. एंड वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अब व्हेन वी मूव फॉरवर्ड और मूव अहेड, हाउ वुड दैट नॉलेज कैपिटल फाइंड इट्स रेस्टोरेशन. एंड लर्निंग फ्रॉम टेक्नोलॉजी, आप टेक्नोलॉजी को लर्निंग के लिए यूज तो कर ही रहे हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम वी शुड आल्सो ट्राई टू लर्न फ्रॉम टेक्नोलॉजी. और टेक्नोलॉजी इंप्लीमेंटेशन की वजह से नया स्किल सेट बच्चों के सीखने में भी आ गया है और पढ़ाने में भी आ गया है. सो वी आल्सो हैव टू थिंक on the lines of typically finding out the skills that the student would need in his future life. So thank you so much. Now you can all see Divya Purohit on the screen. So he's the timekeeper. So you all get to speak for next 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, once your time is over, Divya will put his one hand up. Then you have 30 more seconds. And once your 2 minutes and 30 seconds are over, he'll put his second hand up. And that is the time that you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to finish this on time. So I hope you enjoy the next time. From the practitioners, we'll want to know, how are you experiencing this wave of education coming in, and how do you think it will change the curriculum, the pedagogy, the content delivery, the presentation, and all the aspects of the education ecosystem. So let's hear it from now onwards from the practitioners or the school leaders. I request the first guest for today, Mrs. Golden Kaul, Executive Director and Principal, DP School and College, Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. Ma'am, over to you. You can unmute your audio.
So it gives me immense pleasure when I join all my colleagues here in this today's webinar. Is tech really teaching? So as far as teaching is concerned, we are saying delivering a talk or with the help of technology is not actually teaching. Teaching in real sense, it means that when there is involvement. So as far as this today's time is concerned, in such a lockdown, we are accepting challenges. So this time, technology is really teaching. Technology is teaching us. If there would have been no technology, I think as far as India is concerned, it would have been very impossible to keep the schools, to keep all universities, keep all colleges, keep all schools open. So although the schools are closed, but teaching is still going on, and hats off to this technology. So technology gives ways to different kind of education at different levels. The schools are trying their level best to impart. So as far as teaching and technology is concerned, so nobody can be beyond a teacher. So technology is concerned. Technology, I personally feel technology is a teaching tool. As a teacher uses in his or her class, we are having Blackboard, we are having other like MapSync, LobSync, subject-wise, we are using other teaching aids. So in the same way, so these technology is also helping a teacher to be smart. So this is a smart time, and we all are becoming smart. So when a teacher has to be smart, or he or she has to make his teaching also smart, So apart from lockdown, so already we were having already these things in our classes, in our schools. We were having smart classes, and we are having apps. So we were like taking help of such things. So we were already got used to it. But as far as these crucial days are concerned, COVID days are concerned, in these COVID days, we people experienced a lot, and we people, I'll say, within the span of 3 or 4 months, so we got used to. Maybe these are our students, maybe these are our teachers. The teachers who were hardly just like they were having the phobia, how we'll go in front of the screen, now very confident as to have these classes. Maybe these are Google Class, Google Meet, they are having Zoom classes, and online classes, they are taking help. And as far as discipline is concerned, so these means teachers are trying their level best just to impart, to give their best to the student. So students are taking precautions or some preventions or some, like.
Thank you so much, Golden Ma'am. Let's now hear it from the next guest for today, Dr. Harvinder Kaur, Director Academics and Principal, GRIPS, SBS Nagar, Chandigarh, Punjab. So Harvinder Ma'am, over to you. You can unmute your audio.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm trying to just switch on over my video, but I think it is getting disrupted. So sorry for the inconvenience about that. So really, after listening to the distinguishing people, Daksh, I would like to say that technology is really, I don't consider that technology was away from teaching anytime. Because if day by day, if we see that technology was already there with us, along with the teaching methodologies, formally or the informally. But yes, the way the technology has entered the teaching zone. So now the last decade has shown that we need to transform in regards to the developing pace of the world, in regards to the technology. So while instructing someone, it is not a matter of getting a pupil to commit results to mind, right? It is rather to teach the student to participate in the process. And that makes possible the establishment of knowledge. So if we teach a subject not to produce little living libraries on the subject, but rather to get a student think mathematically for himself or consider matters as an historian does, it takes a part in the process of knowledge getting. And knowing is not a process, not a product, and it could be facilitated via multi-dimensions, and one is the technology. This is what I consider. And if we don't mandate a learner a part of a product production, then technology is a boon to teaching. Since pandemic outbreak, we have seen that technology has been playing a vital role in staying connected with the learners and has assisted the teacher and their methodology a lot. Now, technology has already been supporting teaching, informal teaching, creating animations and enhancing the curriculum in one way or the other way. So it was never absent from our part, but yes, it was there, but it wasn't that very mandatory to us. So now the teaching process involves really commitment to the concept. And for a teacher in a traditional classroom, it is not possible that all the skills are there in one teacher, that she can create the visualization of the topic, which I call that learner zone of proximal development, in harnessing the experience, knowledge, and the feelings. But yes, we can't say that the teaching is complete without all these facts. So there are 5 keys of learning. Primarily, we are providing knowledge, feelings, and the skills. And secondly, we are harnessing the experience, knowledge, and feelings among them. And then with the help of internet, whiteboard screens, with individual learners or a small group of activities, via phones or other devices, we are imparting knowledge. Now, when the knowledge is being given, whether the learner is an adult or a small child, we know that it is making a difference. Now, aligning it.
Thank you so much, Harvinder ma'am. The time was actually over. To summarize what you said, that teaching typically happens through participation, and online participation even gets more and more critical. And a very important observation कि हम बच्चों को छोटी libraries में नहीं convert कर रहे हैं. उन्हें बहुत सारा theory, बहुत सारा content पढ़ा देने से काम नहीं हो जाएगा. We have to make them observant and knowledgeable at the same time. And उनके learning zone में हमें होना होगा. Just some days back, we had a behavioral scientist on this very platform, Colonel Sudeep Mukherjee, he shared a very nice observation that a kid who is typically looking at an online screen like this, and on the 9th second, you typically lose him and he starts daydreaming. So आपने अपना content को इतना engaging बनाना होगा कि हर 8वें second बाद भी वो आपको सुन रहा है. सबसे important उससे सीख रहा हो, because teaching learning process में भी teaching process तो हो जा रहा है क्योंकि टीचर उसे पूरा कर दे रहा है, but learning में अभी बहुत सारे gaps काफी जगह खड़े हो गए क्योंकि बच्चा किस end पे पढ़ रहा है, कैसा पढ़ रहा है, is something that we're not able to judge because he's not there in the class. Let's listen it from the next guest for today, Mrs. Roopkatha Sarkar, Principal, La Martiniere for Girls, Kolkata, West Bengal. Roopkatha ma'am, over to you. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. I'm very humbled to be in the presence of so many distinguished educationists. Much has been said already, so I would like to say here that with the kind of experience that I'm now having, I can see that the role of the teacher has changed. It is no longer standing there and giving a few lectures, as somebody said. It is no longer, giving facts and figures that is available at the click of now it is the way is the click. So the students know what to look for. So then what has the teacher to offer? Can technology, I'm going to raise these questions. Can technology understand the pace of a learner, the speed of a learner, the comprehension of a learner? So technology is a tool that is helping the teacher to teach, but it has to be more than just transmitting of some facts. So the role of a teacher has now changed to more of a guide, a mentor who can understand the learner, how much of learning pace. If I have a special child, if I have a child who has lost already the attention span of 8 seconds, am I able to connect back with the learner? So the role of a teacher has changed. It is much more challenging now to gain the interest of the child when there are so many other platforms open by the side of the learner. How does the teacher reach the child? At least if the child was in the classroom, I could look at the child and the child had to look back at me and understand that the teacher's focus is on him or her. But now even, I can put my video off, or I can even have the video and still have so many things open around me. And then comes the accountability of the learner. We have to train our students to take responsibility for their learning. So in this new digital era, we have much to do. As we learn how to teach, we also have to teach our children how to learn. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Roopkatha ma'am, to actually, articulate it so well and in such small amount of time. Thank you so much. To summarize what all you said, that role of the teacher has absolutely changed. Learning is now driven by a click rather than a teacher's understanding of its students and lesson plan. Can tech understand the pace of a learner and comprehension? Feedback mechanism अभी पूरी तरह से breakdown हो गया है क्योंकि ये एक normal class नहीं है, virtual class है, तो हमें पता नहीं है कि student सीख रहा है कि नहीं. And we are not just transmitting facts because facts are Google पे available हैं. We have to teach them something beyond information. सूचना से ज़्यादा कुछ पढ़ाना होगा, and that the curriculum right now I think does not allow. And वहीं where we typically need a lot of intervention to happen. Feedback not effective. Multi-content consumption. जितने बच्चे हैं वो एक डिजिटल जनरेशन में पैदा हुए हैं, वो एक साथ बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स को हैंडल करना जानते हैं और हमेशा क्लास के चलते हुए भी वो कोई और कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर रहे होते हैं. So how to handle this scenario is again a very big and important element. And learners accountability या active learner बनाना, बच्चों को ये सिखाना what's the process of learning and how will you learn, because किसी भी ऑनलाइन क्लास में backbenchers identify तो होते नहीं है. So when we don't know the backbenchers, how will we take care of them? इसलिए हर किसी को active learner बनाना should be the priority right now. Thank you so much, Roopkatha ma'am, for raising some amazing questions into the whole discussion. Thank you so much. Let's now hear it from Ms. Pooja Bose, Principal, the High Range School, Munnar, Kerala. Pooja ma'am, over to you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. The question is whether technology is really teaching. The answer is yes or no. Most of the teachers in India, my dear friends, never learned using technology, nor were trained to teach via technology. They are of the blackboard and chalk era. However, they have quickly upskilled themselves to begin online classes. Books, blackboards, or chalks are mere tools in the hands of a teacher, and so is technology. It really depends how you harness it, whether you have befriended technology or not. Teachers need to actually reimagine their classroom on a virtual platform. They really have to think whether their lesson design understands the limitation of the technology that they are using. Do you use a variety of platforms such as Padlet, Mentimeter, Google Forms, etc.? Because one size won't fit all. Redesigning and customizing our technology to the topics that we are teaching is the key. For example, Zooming is not teaching, but to teach children how to research online is a skill which every student should learn and should certainly be taught. Most schools are finding stopgap solutions to continue teaching, but the quality of learning is heavily dependent on the level and quality of digital access. After all, only around 60% of the globe's population is online. Many students in less developed countries, even such as ours, rely on lessons and assignments which are only sent via WhatsApp or emails. Right now, my dear friends, the question is not what is teaching, but to articulate what is learning. Learning happens in a non-threatening, comforting, and self-paced environment. For many a student, a real classroom may not be an ideal place to learn at their own pace and style. Sometimes they are dominated, judged, and snubbed by their peers in physical class. They are unable to keep up the pace with the progress of syllabus. I'm talking about the mediocre or weak students. For them, technology is a boon. The virtual space allows the child's skills and thoughts to develop without judging their acumen with respect to others. The online courses are a beautiful bubble in which each student learns unthreatened. Having said that, technology has to be used wisely and selectively. Wise teachers combine traditional academic merit and contemporary digital innovation to achieve the best results. They offer spaces for children to pause and reflect between the classes. Technology really allows participation and engages children so that ownership of the learning happens. The challenge when it comes to junior children are with the technology because the human warmth and experiential learning and non-verbal stimuli are lacking in a virtual class. Another area, assessments, which is a key aspect of schooling and has a phenomenal potential to enhance with the medium of technology, is also to be explored. But so far, we haven't been able to tap the full potential of this resource. To conclude, the teacher has to cleverly tame technology to his or her advantage by navigating across its burgeoning potential now and even after COVID pandemic is over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am. To again summarize what all you said, that teachers never learned on tech. एक underlying paradox हमेशा से education का रहा है कि आप अपने से पिछली generation से पढ़ते हैं और अगली को पढ़ाते हैं और हमेशा 2 generation का gap आप अपने बच्चों तक पहुंचाते हैं. So that's where this gap actually comes in कि teachers ने जो पढ़ाई करी है उसमें technology का content ही नहीं था. वो उनके लिए out of course था जो अभी course में आया है. वो upskilling बहुत जल्दी करनी पड़ रही है. Finding the right tech platform is very critical because schools typically are right now flooded with options, but the problem is to find the right option. और उसके लिए टीचर का या स्कूल लीडर का टेक सेवी होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड जूमिंग इज नॉट टीचिंग. ये अब तो स्टैब्लिश हो गया है जब इतने जूम कॉल्स पे इतने सारे वर्चुअल क्लासेस हो गए कि ये नहीं हो पा रहा है. एंड इवन इफ वी टॉक ऑन दैट कि शायद पूरे टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस का 30% काम ही हो पा रहा है ऑन अ वर्चुअल क्लास. मेजर 70% काम अभी भी नहीं हो पा रहा है. डिजिटल एक्सेस बीइंग अ बिग चैलेंज इन इंडिया, इन रूरल इंडिया. नेटवर्क पर्कुलेशन, इंटरनेट की भी बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं, जो नेटवर्क पर्कुलेशन है वो केवल 25% है. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे देश में 55,000 ऐसे गांव हैं जिनके पास में नेटवर्क है ही नहीं. तो इंटरनेट तो नेक्स्ट लेवल हो गया एंड वहां पे एंगेजमेंट तो पूरी तरीके से गायब है. एजुकेशन तो है ही नहीं. खैर दैट्स अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑल टुगेदर. एंड राइट नाउ द रियल चैलेंज इज टू टिपिकली आर्टिकुलेट and understand कि बच्चे के लर्निंग प्रोसेस को आप इफेक्टिव कैसे कर सकते हैं और उसके कौन-कौन से एलिमेंट्स पे आपको भी ध्यान देना है. So thank you so much, Pooja ma'am. Let's hear it from the next guest for today, Mr. Biplab Dey, Director, Groville Education, Kolkata, West Bengal. So if we have Biplab ji on the call.
Indeed, a pleasure to be in this forum. So I will like to put forward the matter in this way, that I am involved with a rural education system. Now, rural India is cover around 70% of our country, rural sector, wherein due to this COVID-19, most of the students, I mean, in fact, all of the students in rural and urban area, they were restricted or they are prohibited to go to their regular classroom, be it school, be it college. And rural India is also affected hugely in this model. So what happened, we are operating our education process in various rural sectors in Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, and many other states which are coming up. So what we identified, that this little toddler, if they are out of education, then there is hardly any chance that they should get again interest to this particular mainstream education process. And one of the previous speaker has told very nicely that teachers' role has been changed. So what we believe as an organization, that teachers are not teachers today, they are mentors. So until and unless a teacher inspired a children, they cannot be motivated either through offline or through online or even the technology or non-technology. By this technology platform, whatever is now going on across, now student has an accessibility to each and every teacher throughout the day. I know many of the students may not be raised any question in the class hour, but later on they can send any question to through WhatsApp or might be through SMS, anything that is comfortable for them. And teacher is really happy, because I understand that most of the teacher really want that there should be lots of query come down from a student. That means they got an interest and they have some things to clarify. So because of technology, this is possible, which is somewhat not possible every time in an offline education, which is in a common general classroom environment. So yes, though technology cannot be an entirely complement to the offline education, but yes, it can be a very good supplement. And because of that, slowly, gradually, the matured student, slowly, gradually being in technology part, though they might not be engineer right now, they're into school, but still they have interest that why can't we do it with our parents or our home. That is something which is called inspiration. To us, if a children is really inspired, they can do wonder. We all know. So this is something which we believe, yes, technology is really an important tool to make it more successful and more effective in terms of education as a process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Biplab sir. To again summarize what you said, that toddlers who are right now not into education या जो अभी education में engage नहीं हैं, उनको mainstream में वापस ला पाना बहुत typical हो जाएगा. And here I would like to just share one more observation कि अगर आप इंडिया में rural education का scenario देखेंगे तो उसका एक epicenter is the midday meal, और midday meal virtually नहीं खिलाया जा सकता. And that's where you lose the whole ecosystem that you were trying to create via that and engaging people in the right kind of education. This is where the real challenge is now coming up. And teachers now will have to be mentors, क्योंकि उन्हें इंस्पायर करना पड़ेगा. केवल पढ़ा के काम नहीं होगा. अभी तक आप केवल इंफॉर्मेशन या नॉलेज दे के काम चल जा रहा था, अब वो नहीं होगा. अब नाउ टू गो टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल, अपस्किलिंग के साथ आपको बहुत सारी अपस्किलिंग करनी होगी, बिकॉज एंगेजमेंट, एजुकेशन एंड इंस्पिरेशन, ये तीनों काम एक साथ साइमल्टेनियसली एक ही क्लास में एक ही टीचर कर पाए इज द नेक्स्ट न्यू चैलेंज फॉर अ टीचर. एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट की क्वेरीज जो हैं या बच्चों के जो डाउट्स हैं, अब वो बहुत आसानी से फ्लो कर पा रहे हैं और हर बच्चा क्वेश्चन पूछ पा रहा है, बिकॉज वो क्लास का एटमॉस्फेरिक फियर सर्किट काम नहीं कर रहा है और वो टीचर से डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड है. एंड इट्स फन एंड लर्निंग. सो नाउ लेट्स हियर इट फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट गेस्ट फॉर टुडे, Mr. Hitesh Tiwari, Principal, Bal Bharti Public School, Anupur, Madhya Pradesh. Hitesh ji, over to you. You can unmute your audio.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible, Hitesh ji.
Okay, fine. I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Fine. Namaskar to everyone. See, when we talk about is tech really teaching? So let me tell you, my answer is yes, but with a twist. The twist is that the technology is really helping in teaching, basically. So when we talk about that, all of us will be agree on that from April 2020 onwards, all schools, colleges, universities across the world are taking live classes or online classes, and teachers around the globe are creating, maintaining their online lesson plans, videos, and other records through various softwares and apps, to name a few like YouTube, Google Docs, Google Forms, and Classrooms. See, for me, I think technology is a tool. It is not the replacement of a teacher, of a pedagogy. It is basically a tool. And I am 100% agree with the speaker, Madam Pooja Bose, because when she was speaking, I was like, she was actually delivering my speech. Most of the things were very familiar and similar to that. Because it's not that teaching happen in the class, basically, it's a learning that happen in the class. It's all about learning, because as teachers, as educators, we want them that they must learn. That is a process that through teaching, yes, obviously we are imparting that. And that is for sure that being teachers, that students are connected only with the help of technology, because now the only medium is technology. As far as the current situation is going on, the only parameter, the only option, the only alternative we are having is the technology. May it be a Zoom, a Google Meet, MS Talk, or any other software. And I personally believe, because my son is also in class 1 only, and I have seen, like recently you have said that students, I have seen personally that after a month, when they were seeing their classmates through Google Meet, after the class, they were sharing their feelings with their classmates after the class was over. And that is that bonding is there. So technology is not helping in teaching, it's helping in many other ways. It's the same way like we are, those who are doing their jobs or they're working apart from their native place. So we used to have to talk with our parents on WhatsApp calling and something like that. So right now students are using technology for the same. And we are also conducting many activities. It's not about teaching. We have conducted 7 online events, right from art, craft, music, dance, and other activities. And students have sent their videos, and they actually participated very enthusiastically into these online activities. Because when we talk about school, we talk about the holistic development of the child. See, let me tell you, the best part of the technology is that distance does not matter, and it can be imparted from anywhere. And that is the best solution for the tough times. And students also can go through the recorded sessions for future use, which cannot be happen in the physical classes. Once the student is absent, he cannot attend that particular class, but right now he can go through that recorded sessions of the same teacher. See, I have personally, you might be heard of that article, it comes in Times of India, that the Indus International School, Bengaluru in India, is the first school in the country, those who have started teaching with robots in their classes in August 2019. Almost 6 months before the COVID, this thing. And let me tell you, they are using.
Thank you so much, Hitesh. The time was actually over, but we'll try to come back to, if it's possible, to summarize what you said, that tech is helping in teaching. Tech बहुत बड़ा एक चैलेंज जो टेक्नोलॉजी ने पार कर दिया, और जिसमें स्कूल्स बहुत इफेक्टिव रहे थ्रू आउट द लॉकडाउन, कि आपने बच्चों और पेरेंट्स की एंजाइटी को एट बे कर दिया, या उसको आपने बहुत अच्छे से कंट्रोल किया, क्योंकि स्कूल्स ने बच्चों को और पेरेंट्स को एंगेज्ड रखा. एंड टेक्नोलॉजी ने बॉन्डिंग को बढ़ा दिया, सबकी लॉन्गिंगनेस को बढ़ा दिया. वापस जब मिलेंगे तो उसके अंदर बहुत ज्यादा इमोशनल व्हाट वी कैन से इन्वॉल्वमेंट बहुत बढ़ जाएगा, क्योंकि एज अ सोसाइटी हम लोगों की एम्पैथी ऊपर चली गई है. Online events are super effective and right now being happening across the nation, and revision is far easier because recorded videos हैं जो बाद में reference के लिए देखे जा सकते हैं. So thank you so much, Hitesh ji. Let's hear it from the next guest for today, Mr. Prashant Sharma, Principal, Ambuja Vidya Niketan, Ambuja Nagar, Gujarat. Prashant ji, over to you for the next 2 minutes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to listen to all the prominent educationists and allowing me to put forth my point. When it comes to the question, is tech really teaching? I am a little more optimistic, whatever I have heard till now. I believe I should put this question in this way, that is tech really making the learning to happen? Because whenever we are talking about the education, we are talking about the learning of the kids. We are also talking about the learning of the teachers. We are also talking about the learning of the parents. So in my opinion, whenever we are talking about is technology really teaching, or is the learning is really happening, it is about the teaching strategies that you people are using. I think the best of the teaching can happen only when the teacher is using a strategy which can reach out to each and every individual. We are talking about students with multiple intelligences. When this theory came into being in 1983, the education revolutionized. So same way, it is the job of the teacher to make sure that each and every child is taken care of when he is planning his lesson. So I think when the technology comes into play, it has brought a lot of changes to our education system, and it has been evolving. If you see over the years, the blackboards have been replaced by smart boards. The chalk has been replaced by smart pads. So I believe it is giving many children an opportunity to learn. Modern aim of the education is no child is to be left behind. Of course, technology is the only tool by which we can talk about, we can have inclusive learning. And there are so many things coming up like blended. A lot of research has been going into education, like blended learning, augmented teaching, and so many things are coming up. Interdisciplinary approach. So many things are coming up. But when COVID-19 struck the world, and overnight the schools and institutes of learning came to an halt. Exams postponed or rather cancelled. Everyone castled into their houses. Classroom practices were demolished. Now, there was only one thing that was there with us, and that was the technology. The educationists and the associates thought about an alternative. And what was the alternative? The alternative was, of course, technology. Zooming, WebEx, so many platforms came into existence suddenly from nowhere. So the classroom has been, the house has changed into a classroom. The parent has become a teacher. The boundaries between the...
Thank you so much, Prashantji. Again, the time is over. To again summarize what all you said, that the real question at this point is tech really helping learning? कि learning हो पा रही है कि नहीं और कितनी effective हो पा रही है? Secondly, multiple intelligences of a student और उनका engagement. कि अभी आप एक ऐसे बच्चे को engage, what we have heard till now, and I'm just sharing this as an example, not to defame anybody at any point of time. There was a very a principal from one of the leading schools of India, based out of Mumbai. They said on this very platform that they had to stop virtual classes because of the digital pranks that were happening. बच्चे classes में इतने बड़े-बड़े digital pranks करने लग गए कि teachers परेशान हो गए, and they had to actually stop those classes. And when they resumed, उन्होंने अपने पूरे content को इस तरीके से plan किया that they were actually teaching technology to students. जब उन्होंने बच्चों को टेक्नोलॉजी पढ़ाना शुरू किया तो वो क्लासेस आराम से चलने लग गए, and they actually had to shift the curriculum's focus. So we'll actually have to find solutions on आप कैसे engage करेंगे and the kind of content that you want to deliver वो अपने आप में engaging नहीं है. And सबसे बड़ा problem, when a student sees you on a screen, he compares you with a celebrity. और आपका presentation और उस celebrity के presentation में फर्क हो जाता है, and that's where he gets disinterested. And then you said that tech is helping in inclusive learning, flip learning coming in, बहुत सारी नई pedagogies have come in, and tech was the only alternative available और उसको सबने बहुत अच्छे से use किया. Thank you so much, Prashant ji. आप कुछ और कहना चाह रहे हैं, but we'll try to come back to you. अभी we'll have to go to the next speaker. So thank you so much. Let's listen it from Mr. Adarsh Kamungal, CEO, Ashoka World School, Ernakulam, Kerala. Adarsh ji, over to you for the next 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a very interesting talk. Most of the things that I've thought that I would actually speak have already been spoken about. So, but when you actually look at this whole question, is tech really teaching? I think there's a small negative vibe to it. And the question we should be, and when we really ask that question to ourselves, if you take, let me give you an example. You take a child of 6th standard from the academic year, or 6th or 7th standard, from the academic year 2019-20. And hopefully by the end of March, you take another child of the same class, if we are going to measure the capabilities of these children, if there is a common measuring and if we measure the capabilities of the children, and one child has been studying in class all the time, the other child has been doing online classes, are their capabilities going to be equal? That is one question that we should be asking. Because by this March, we will get to know how successful are we with regards to online education. I don't think we are anywhere. I don't think it's responsible for us to say online learning is actually, what do you call, giving the same amount of, what do you call, success as in-house learning. You know, if you again ask me, like, you know, is tech really teaching? The tech, in my opinion, tech is actually really teaching the teachers. Teachers are getting to know about technology, teachers are getting to learn about technology, and they are trying to catch up with the students. And that is where we are right now. There are multiple things that we can actually do. I was listening to, I think madam's name is Rupkatha. She asked a very good question. Can technology replace teachers? The answer is no. There is no replacement for good teaching and a good teacher. We are a good 15 to 20 years away from AI becoming anywhere close to that. So we are in a situation where we send in videos, we do live classes for young children, and their parents are doing the assignments. So who are we teaching? Are we teaching the children or are we teaching the parents? Are we giving a revision for parents? Now, these are the kind of questions that is actually happening right now. So where tech, current day tech, can come into play would be on big data analysis. That is right now, as well as when school reopens. How learning is being effectively delivered and how that is affecting a particular child, and what are, the various methodologies we need to apply to that child to bring that child's particular talents up. Those are the kind of, things tech can at the current level do for us. The next question that I can't see Div, so if my time is up, just let me know. So if you really look into it, how can we improve ourselves at this point of time? We can only pray that the classes open up ASAP, we find a vaccine for this. But
Adarsh ji, the time was over, you got muted, so but thank you so much. You added a new perspective to the discussion. That एक जो बहुत important observation कि हमें AI पढ़ाना शुरू करें, उसमें कम से कम 15 से 20 साल का time है. And for the next 15-20 years, the most critical element in the education ecosystem is a teacher. And one again very nice observation जो अभी absolutely validate हो रही है across the world. The school as a model has become absolutely transparent. क्योंकि हर क्लास में पेरेंट बैठा है, आपके टीचर का हर स्टेटमेंट स्क्रूटिनाइज हो रहा है, आपका हर प्रोसेस स्क्रूटिनाइज हो रहा है. And as an institution, the school does not have a CRM department और कस्टमर रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट एक नई टास्क पैदा हो गई है जो कि कंटिन्यूअसली करनी पड़ रही है. बिकॉज द क्लास इज राइट नाउ द होम, एंड आपका जो स्टूडेंट बेस है उसमें पेरेंट, उसके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, शायद उसका कोई कजन या उसका कोई भाई या सभी जने उस क्लास के अंदर है. तो आपकी एक टिपिकल क्लास साइज जो शायद 30 बच्चे या 35 या 40 बच्चों की थी, वो अब 80 से 90 लोगों तक पहुंच गई है. बिकॉज एवरी डे योर टीचर इज एड्रेसिंग सो मेनी पीपल हु आर अगेन ओपन टू क्वेश्चनिंग, जो कि फॉर अ स्कूल I think the system is not ready. And the most imminent thing that's coming up is big data analysis, क्योंकि इस पूरे प्रोसेस के अंदर हम बहुत सारा डेटा क्रिएट कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी, जो बहुत सारी कंपनीज इकट्ठा करके जिसके they are trying to make sense of it. So as individuals, as schools, as institutions, it is time that we understand the different aspects in which technology is being used by us and the way technology is using us. So thank you so much, Adarsh ji. Let's listen to the next guest for today. Mr. Paramjeet Kumar, Principal GND DAV Public School, Bhikhi Wind, Taran Taran, Punjab. Paramjeet ji, over to you.
Vaidik Abhivadan, sabko namaste. Dakshji, it's wonderful participating in this particular talk, where all my senior colleagues and worthy members, they have contributed a lot. Dear friends, when we say that is tech really teaching, I humbly differ that nobody can replace a teacher. But the role of the teacher has changed today. From a teacher, our role has become more of a facilitator. Now we are not mentors even, we are the facilitators who are to provide the best possible tools, the best possible technology to the students to utilize in their classes, to utilize at the place. And we are to facilitate them. I usually say that technology is the youngest son of the education family or academics family. But nowadays, technology is bearing the maximum burden or the maximum load of education at the place. A few months back, we were saying, say no to mobiles. But now we are saying, come on mobile and have your classes. So we, as the facilitators, we have to contribute our bit. This technology is a double-edged weapon, or it's a double-edged tool. Not a weapon exactly, it is a tool, because it is very useful. But then we need to use it very, very carefully. The moment we are going to misuse it or we are going to take it reluctantly, the child is going to get disturbed. We have mixed up with two things, because rest all has been said by my colleagues. So I'll be just talking of something different, that we have mixed up with two things, the hard work and the smart work. We are leading towards smart work. But at the same time, we are just letting the hard work go. The child on a click, when we say, one of my colleagues has said that it is the era, earlier it was the era of chalk and talk. The teacher was coming into the class and teaching. Now it is a time of brick and click. Smart school, having technology, and the child is learning there. But when we are using technology, we have to be very, very careful, because hard work is one particular factor. Jo Dr. Keshav ne bhi bola, Dr. Kamlesh, sorry, the Vice Chancellor, he said that mental, physical, emotional, and then spiritual growth, it is required. And that is only possible when the students meet together. So technology is to be used. As Daksh said, we are not to be used by the technology. The technology is to be used by us. So I personally feel that technology cannot teach, but yes, it is definitely a wonderful tool in the hand of the educator, in the hand of the teacher, with which the teacher can convey everything, whatever he or she wants, to the students at a distance, and can make the things more clear, rather in a better way. As somebody said, that the child can listen again and again whatever the video the teachers are sending. So it is a technology which is to be used, as sir said, that teaching tool and the learning tool. In my opinion, the teachers are to learn how to use technology and then pass it on to the students in a very, very safe way, because there is an age to everything. We cannot afford that a 5 years or 7 year child is driving a scooter. So it's the same way, whatever the Zoom or the Microsoft Teams or the Google Teams we are utilizing, I don't feel that every child can use that in the right perspective. So
absolutely, Paramjit. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. The time was over. आपका एक स्टेटमेंट शायद आपने पहले किसी एक वेब टॉक में बोला था, जो मुझे आज वापस याद आ रहा है. आपने उसको वापस से रिकॉर्ड किया कि टेक्नोलॉजी एजुकेशन का वो बच्चा है जो अब बड़ा हो गया है और उसने पूरे घर की जिम्मेदारी अपने ऊपर ले ली है. Because technology right now is actually handling the maximum burden for education. And इस समय पे one thing which is very obvious कि कुछ ऐसे technology platforms हैं which were not meant for education, who facilitated education the maximum, जिसमें सबसे पहला है WhatsApp, जिसका कहीं कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव एजुकेशन का नहीं था, लेकिन उसने एजुकेशन एनेबलमेंट बहुत ज्यादा किया है. Let's now hear it from the next guest, Mr. Biju Thomas, Vice Principal, Aryaman Vikram Birla Institute of Learning, Haldwani, Uttarakhand. Biju ji, over to you.
Good evening, esteemed panelists. I'm Biju Thomas from Aryaman Birla Institute of Learning. All of you have rightly said that try to answer the question, is the tech really teaching? Like, I would like to rephrase the question that, have you been able to use a tech efficiently? It's not that tech has come to us all of a sudden. It has been there for years, right? So but when the pandemic came, we all were most of the schools or most of the education system was caught napping, right? And as Ms. Aryama Datta rightly said, that we had the technology, we had the best of the, everything was available before the pandemic. But if you look at the PISA scores which we had in year 2005 or 7, right, the Indian students did not fare well in that. And especially if you look into many other, the way the Indian students have been applied, our students have been faced real challenges in terms of getting admissions abroad, right? They found the skills were lagging in many parameters. So the question which we have to really ask that is, have we been able to use technology efficiently, right? Right now we have the best of the facilities which we have, but did we ever teach our skills, the research skills? If I go for an assessment and if I ask a question, what is photosynthesis, for a student, a simple Google, and he will simply Google the question and find the answer. But is that the purpose of the technology? As I said, we at no point of time did our education system change that we may teach the child to become academically honest, about the academic honesty. No point of time, Erin, did we teach the children that he or she should produce an answer which is produce an answer in his own terms, right? So I think that most of them, like, we have been caught lagging in terms of technology and looking at the and based on education system also like since being from mathematical background, like most of my students, like when we are dealing with IB students, we do use technologies which are way ahead. But when we come to CBSE, right, those technologies become redundant. That's something like when I bring the same graphical display calculator into class, it becomes a wow factor. But if I take it in this IB class, is something which is a normal paradigm. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, the technology was there, but we were very slow in bringing it. And probably we were not prepared for it. And today we have the technology which can help a student to visualize, understand, collaborate. He can collaborate with any children in any part of the world. But we haven't given a time for our teachers to actually reflect upon it. And also we haven't been able and it will only be successful if we give them time to discuss and reflect upon it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Viju sir. To summarize, schools were caught napping. आपका बड़ा अच्छा statement, which we will try to take up in the coming talks as well. क्योंकि as educationists सब dormant हो गए थे. We were within that rut and we were comfortable in that rut. और उस comfort zone को एकदम से lockdown ने तोड़ दिया. और टेक्नोलॉजी इतना जल्दी दरवाजे के अंदर घुस गई कि हम उसे संभाल नहीं पाए. और जब हम उसे अब संभाल रहे हैं, तब पेरेंट हमें रिव्यू कर रहा है. तो टिपिकली एक के बाद एक चीज पे स्टम्बल अपॉन करते जा रहे हैं और उसको वी आर ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट हाउ टू सेट इट इन द राइट प्लेस. Academic honesty being critical, are we using tech effectively is very important, and I would say effectively and efficiently. ये दोनों aspects में हमें समझना होगा कि टेक्नोलॉजी को हम कैसे यूज कर रहे हैं. And this is the point when actually an IB curriculum, a Cambridge curriculum, and a CBSE curriculum have come at a place where each of them is being judged for their aspects of current employability. So thank you so much, Biju sir, for adding that perspective. So let's now hear it from the co-chair on their thoughts on what do they think after so many discussions and so many points of perceptions that have come from so many school leaders. Let's hear it from Arjamaji. Arjamaji, over to you for the next 2 minutes for your concluding statements.
Right, and this time I'll try to stick to your time limit. So yes, I think it has been a privilege to hear from all the panelists, and I believe all of us are on the same page that the technology is definitely a great learning tool. It's a great teaching tool, but on its own, as a standalone tool, it's not effective. There are gaps, as Daksh talked about the midday meals. Another panelist talked about how you cannot look at a student's eyes and see the body language and understand whether he has understood or not. So there are these gaps. But these gaps notwithstanding, technology is a tool and it is here to stay. So we as educationists, if we work together to fill these gaps, and make sure how to make the classes engaging. We don't send our kids to school only to learn English and maths and science. We send our kids to school to learn social skills, to learn how to work in teams, Now, if we work together to make an online classroom as close to a physical classroom as possible, then it's a win-win for the student, for students across the world, for teachers across the world, so that, you know, if something like this happens again, then none of us are caught napping. So as I said, you know, to wrap up, make no mistake, online learning is here to stay. As educationists, let's embrace it and let's enhance it. So that's all. Thank you, Daksh.
Thank you so much, Arjun ji. And yes, technology is there to stay. And सबसे important चीज वो एक ऐसा गेस्ट है जिसको हमने बुलाया बिल्कुल नहीं था, but हमने continuously बच्चों को और schools में instruction दिए थे कि don't bring a screen to the school, and अब the school is within that very screen. और सब चीजें diplomatically उल्टी हो गई और politically correct statements सारे principals ने सभी जगह पे कर दिए. But yes, technology is there to stay. अब उसको align करना सीखना होगा. And I think दो aspects में समझना होगा, the effectiveness of it and the efficiency of it. Efficiency from the perspective of a teacher कि क्या टेक्नोलॉजी सच में काम कर पा रही है, and effectiveness from the aspect of learning कि क्या वो learning outcome दे पा रही है जो मुझसे expect कर रहे हैं. Let's now hear it from the chair from the round table, Professor Kamlesh Mishra ji. Professor Kamlesh ji, over to you for the next 2-3 minutes for the concluding statements.
I think it was good hearing everybody's view. I have a couple of things that I want to highlight here. I think one of the problems that we have whenever we have this kind of a discussion is that we feel India is in the metro areas. But unfortunately, the digital divide is so vast that 60% of the population is untouched by what we are talking about. Right? Either they don't have device, they don't have bandwidth, they don't have anything. Second thing, we were all on a train that was going in a direction. All of a sudden, that train stopped. So we all moved out and jumped into another running train. Now the problem is, what will happen when that first train starts to run again? How many will be in the second train and how many will go back into the first train? I think what we need to understand is that at this point, we are all talking about technology and online learning. Wait till the normalcy comes back, and then we will know how many people really mean that they are going to do online learning. Everybody is going to go back to where they were because there is no substitute, nothing at all that can match the creativity and the effort of a teacher who is doing face-to-face. It is impossible, right? I'm telling you, artificial intelligence can do everything, but it cannot do creativity. And that's going to be the human power that is going to be there. So I think we should be very careful to evaluate how much this online learning is going to be effective. I think let's wait for normal situation to come back. All schools, colleges, universities, everybody will go and everybody will say, okay, let's do some blended learning. 10% कर लेते हैं so that एक platform है, अगर फिर से महामारी आ गई तो हम उस पर चले जाएंगे. Right? That's the only thing we will do, and that's the reality of it. As individuals, as academicians, as administrators, we know that we cannot challenge the power of a teacher when they are face to face. आप human touch technology से ला ही नहीं सकते. It is impossible to bring that human touch. And unless you bring the human touch, you cannot create great human beings. Technology cannot create great human beings. So let's wait. Let's go ahead with it. ये तो एक ऐसी चीज है जो हमको कोई मजबूरी में करना ही पड़ा है. There is no way. There is nothing else, right? And let's be practical about it. अगर हम नहीं करेंगे तो हम टीचर्स को सैलरी कैसे देंगे, फीस कहाँ से आएगी? That's the honest answer. We all need to, as teachers, we need to be honest about it also. And it's fair for us to make sure that we do this so that we can pay our teachers. We don't want them to be without jobs. But the day we have the vaccine and everybody comes to normal, we will see things will change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamlesh ji, for actually adding some practicality sense into the whole discussion कि शायद हम एक ट्रेन से छोड़ के दूसरी ट्रेन में चढ़ने वाले थे और चढ़ गए हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं कि बस दूसरी चल जाए, हम इससे उधर वापस चले जाएं. शायद उसका हम ऑलरेडी रिजर्व्ड अनरिजर्व्ड टिकट हाथ में लेके बैठे हैं कि बस we are waiting for it to start and we'll go back to that. But what we think कि काफी हद तक ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग आएगी, बिकॉज काफी बाउंड्रीज उसमें मेल्ट डाउन हो गई हैं। जहां जहां हमें कंफर्ट मिल गया, एज ह्यूमंस विल अडैप्ट टू इट। जहां कंफर्ट नहीं मिला वो सब ऑटो रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा एंड विल गो बैक टू नॉर्मलिटी। Once the school reopens, what we think and what we can understand, it needs a new definition now. एक चीज जो इस पेंडेमिक ने या लॉकडाउन ने या टेक्नोलॉजी के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ने कर दी कि इसने हमारी जितनी भी गलतियां थी जो हम अभी तक कारपेट्स के नीचे ब्रश डाउन कर रहे थे, वो ये सारी ऊपर लेके आ गया। And we have to now actually answer each one of them to each single person who's consuming content, whether it's education, whether it's entertainment, whether it's any industry at this point of time. एंड एजुकेशन के लिए एक विशेष चीज है, समाज में ऐसा बहुत कम बार होता है that the society is ready to listen to you and is ready to experiment. ऐसा केवल तब होता है जब एक एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस खड़ी हो जाती है, जो कि हम अभी झेल रहे हैं। एंड व्हाट आई थिंक राइट नाउ, एंड आई प्रपोज टू ऑल ऑफ यू एज वेल, कि दिस इज द टाइम टू एक्सपेरिमेंट। अगर आप एजुकेशन में कोई चेंज लाना चाहते थे, कोई इनोवेशन करना चाहते थे, तो उसको तुरंत कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इस समय आपका कंज्यूमर उसको सुनेगा और उसे एक्सपेरिमेंट कर लेगा। नॉर्मलिटी में वो नहीं सुनेगा। सो इफ यू एवर वांटेड टू इनोवेट, दिस इज द टाइम टू डू इट। सो डू इट राइट अवे। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली, जो हम इतनी सारी टॉक्स में कंटिन्यूस कहते आ रहे हैं, राइट एन ऑब्जर्वेशन पेपर एवरी सिंगली। भले ही 150-200 वर्ड्स लिखिए, लेकिन लिखिए, बिकॉज व्हाट यू कैन ऑब्जर्व राइट नाउ विद इन योर इकोसिस्टम्स, nobody else can, and that will become the basis for innovation in the coming times. And हम शायद अभी की चीजें भूल जाएं, वो पेपर पेन नहीं भूलेगा। एंड फ्यूचर जनरेशंस आपकी तरफ सच में ये क्वेश्चंस लेके देख रही होंगी कि जब आपको कुछ नहीं करना था तब आप कर क्या रहे थे। So this is the time when you should actually start documenting what you think will become the base of the next innovation happening around all of you, and let education improve for the good. I hope you enjoyed the last 20-30 minutes. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, you can open your audio, say a big yes, and thank you so much for participating in the Blub World Web Talks 71st episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Daksh. Thank you, Daksh.
Thank you,
Thank you, Daksh.
Thank you, Daksh, for letting us in. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, all colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Down to out anything, don't worry. The team will stay connected. You can share your thoughts on WhatsApp, and we'll try to showcase them. Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.